Good morning from Sweden. I hope you are well. So this is the I Ching reading for today, the 12th of February 2026, when we are looking into the energies around us and how to best navigate them in order to have the most smooth and joyous day forward as possible. So as usual, we're starting by centering ourselves, bringing ourselves into the present moment, leaving old stagnant energies behind. So start by rooting into the seat below. Feet firmly placed on the floor underneath if you're on your chair. Connect to Mother Earth below. Sit heavily. Really sink into your seat. And then as you breathe in, your spine rises towards the sky, crown point towards the sky. Chin almost tips a little bit inwards because the spine is rising into the base of the skull, but this is just micro movements, okay? And as you breathe out, you sinking more heavily down into the seat below, and then breathe in. The movement of the spine rising again, and then as you breathe out, sinking into the seat, but the spine remains rising towards the sky. So now you're connecting to the heavens above and the earth below. So we're going to take 3 cleansing breaths. So starting by emptying our lungs out. Getting rid of old stagnant air. And then breathing in through the nose, into the stomach, filling the lungs all the way to the top. And then breathe out through a pinhole through the lips. And then breathe in through the nose, one more breath in. Fresh chi, fresh air, and then breathe out, releasing all stagnant thoughts, the past, bringing yourself into this present moment. And then one more cleansing breath in. Feeling the stomach expand, the whole upper section of your body expand, and then breathe out through a pinhole through the lips. And then continue breathing in and out through your nose. Feeling the stomach expand with each breath in and contract with each breath out. So how are the energies today? And how do we best navigate them in order to ensure the most smooth and possible way forward as possible today? Help us navigate the obstacles more easily. Heaven, earth, fire, water, thunder, wind, wood, mountain, lake. So we've got water. Water, water, replenishing properties of water, the source of all life, water. So we've got 2 yin and 1 yang, so yang, oops, no. I hit the reverse button. So let's check the outer gua. So this was the inner gua, the lower part of the hexagram. So how are the energies today and how do we best navigate them in order to have the most smooth and joyous way forward as possible? Heaven, earth, fire, water, thunder, wind, wood, mountain, lake. So we got lake. So we got a lake over water. And lake looks like this. So that's very watery today, very flowy. got du over kan. So, and then this one, and then so if you look at the lines, we're starting with a yin line at the yang place, and then a yang line at yin, yin at the yang, 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 yin, yang, yin, yang, yin. So the two top lines are central and correct, but they are not corresponding. So, well, going to have to look at if you've got some trouble. Let's have a look. So let's see, which is the changing light. I really need to make this mark better. So I'm taking 2 coins out. I'm going to find the changing light or where we are in the process of this hexagram. And what it is, what's changing. So we've got first 6, second 9, third 6, fourth 9. So we've got more. Fourth 9 is changing into, which means we've got can. Let's see, so we've got can over can, so water double. So that's one of the primary, well, and I've not had this one before, so it's going to be very interesting to see what it is. And then let's have a look at the advanced one. What's hidden is coming in, sort of what is bubbling underneath the surface, so that we've got yang, yin, yang, which means we've got li. And then we've got yin, yang, yang. We've got mountain. No, sorry. Wind, sun over fire. So we've got gentle movement over fire, fire, which is action. So there is action underneath this, all this very flowy, very, very watery elements, like a lot of water today, which is very to replenish oneself, to drink water, to nourish oneself. And also to go with the flow. Water changes directions, right? If you're going down a river and it hits a rock, it will change direction. However, it will in the long term, like all the water flowing, will wear this rock out, right? And then it changes the shape of this rock, but it takes a long time. But I think this is, being open to take a different direction if we hit an obstacle, right? Not giving up, but maybe not bang our head against the wall, right? Keep on banging at the same obstacles, finding a different direction, okay? And here we've got lake over water. So the lake is above water, so maybe there's a bit of an overflow of the lake as well, or the water beneath, or maybe it's flowing away. Let's have a look at the hexagram, because exactly what it is. But here we've got sun, wind over fire, and fire is very illuminating. So it's the underlying energy here is still keep on telling us, because this has come through for a long time. Just look at what's under the surface, really illuminating what's underneath, what is really going on. We can even believe that, okay, I can see things clearly, but yeah, we're not, right? We're just fooling ourselves. Very often, there's very few people on this planet, I think, who are constantly being able to see things clearly, exactly for what they are, and those are enlightened beings. And I don't think there's very many of those around. It's like the Dalai Lama, and there are some wise people living on this planet who actually can see, but a lot of us, or most of us, don't see very much at all, actually, being fooled by the illusions of this world. And it's very easy to do that. And even, when we're starting to believe, we're starting to actually become aware of this, that we don't see very clearly. We are being pulled in constantly. I notice myself, I'm being pulled into believing something that if I really scratch the surface of it and start looking at it and start questioning myself, like my own belief, right? Is this really correct? This is something one must do all the time. Especially like for a person like me who's like at the beginning of this journey, right? I have to check in on myself constantly to see, because I get pulled in constantly, so easily pulled back into the illusion. But that we need to have a look at, really illuminate what is the truth of this whole thing, you know. And we've got some gentle movement above the fire, which is funny. It's like if you got a little bit of wind, gentle movement, a little bit of wind, it actually fans the fire. So if you've got that balance, like a little bit of wind over the fire, it sort of illuminates it more. But this is under the surface. This is what's going on underneath the surface. And I think it's very important for us today to really, really, really look at everything that we experience and that we encounter, which is encountering has been a hexagram, actually, that's come up a few times over the last few days, actually. But it's everything that we encounter, whether it's a person or if there's a situation or whatever, that we really look at. Do I understand this correctly? Right? This is my ego rising and wanting to create this story that suits my ego, soothes my ego. Or is it, am I looking at this correctly? How can I be the best of me? Okay. And then, so let's have a look at see what the book says with the wise men who have written these texts that say about this. So that's the underlying energy that I've been talking about. So let's have a look at the lake over water. Well, that is the main energy today. So lake over water, which is 47. 47. Lake over water. And then we got can. And there we go, 29. So that's a primary gua, which is it's the energy we're moving into. So kan over kan, which is 29. And then fire, wind over fire, which is 37. Wind, fire, 37. So let's have a look. So that's water and that's lake. Yeah, lake. Okay, let's go to 47, the main energy. Where are we at the moment? 43. This is replenishing. 48, but that's 48. It's not it's the hexagram afterwards, yin, replenishing, which is water. Speaking about the well, where people are meeting at the well, the replenishing, exhausting. Here I get, the first thought I get in my head here with this one is when we get pulled into all the hullabaloo around us, we get triggered, which has been a strong thing for me lately, right? Getting triggered, and then frustration and anger rises within. It depletes our energy completely, so it exhausts us. And that's not by doing anything, right? It's not like we're doing things that are exhausting. It's just the emotions and being pulled into all the drama around us, and then being upset by it, and it just exhausts us. So the element of this is 47. It's metal. So metal. That's interesting. I would have taken that. It would have been water, but no. So that's metal. A lot of metal. So we need to cut away. And this is again, right? It's our behavioral pattern, the things that we do, how we react to things, like how we're being triggered by things. That's what we need to cut away, because that's all comes from all trauma, all karma, trauma. So we are reacting in a way that we've been taught previously, like things that happen. So like in my case, I'm starting to become very much aware of it's that not being heard, not being seen, not being listened to. And I think this is a very, it's also generational and a female, like a feminine spirit feminine energy problem as well, I think. Like, I'm thinking about the Epstein files here, and I saw this post on social media, which is so correct, right? Imagine we have to have a dead man's document or something, you know, to prove what 1,000 female voices already said, right? It's like you just stand and you're shouting into the wind, really, and it's just been taken away constantly, and not being heard. And all the gaslighting that comes around it, all the minimizing that comes when you speak about something, and people are minimizing it because they can't see clearly, right? And they don't want to, they want their own reality, and then they're trying to push this reality onto you. So this is unto us, right? And this is where we need to stay alert and stay, alert constantly, and really look at what is true instead, and then not being pulled in to this, not being triggered by this. We need to heal this being triggered. And the lake here, which keeps on coming back, even one day when we actually got Zun, I made a mistake and called it Dui, and then so the lake keeps on coming back. So even if it wasn't in the hexagram, it's obviously prevalent within me. And it's speaking about this, the lake is about having this solid center, not hard center, hard solid center, but it's like having the peace and calm within. No matter what goes on around us, we're not being shook by it because our within is calm, confident. We know who we are. We don't have to prove ourselves to anything. And from this, joy can arise and go to the surface, right? And this is what Lake's speaking about. But when the center, when we're being triggered by things that goes around us, then this center is being becoming turbulent as well. So we don't have this inner center, this strength, this balance within. It becomes all imbalanced. And this is when we are exhausting ourselves, you know, with frustration and anger that's rising. So, and that all comes from past trauma, you know, and how we're being taught. And in my case, it's not being listened to. And I think for many women and many people out there, not being listened to, just being ignored, really, minimized. And if we are exhausting ourselves, we cannot continue. We can't think clearly, and we can't do our best work. So it's not beneficial for ourselves, and in the long run, it's not beneficial for anyone else if we keep on exhausting ourselves. In order to help balance this world, we need to remain strong and nourished, right? Have all this energy. So it's very important that we don't exhaust ourselves with wasting our energy on things that are just not worth wasting our energy on. Restore our energy, and then have this energy in order to being able to do real good in this world, instead choosing to put this energy towards that. And in my case, it's finding a different, you know, putting my energy towards the new direction in my life. And it's for all of us, like February is the initiating, is the first step on our new journey in this new cycle, okay? But we need to stop exhausting ourselves. So 29 is we're going to read into the hexagram. Those are just my thoughts as I saw which one it was, but we're going to see what is said in the actual hexagram. But first, darkness. Can is darkness, of course. So darkness, and this I suspect is a water element, but I might be wrong. No, it's water. Water double darkness. So it's like it is quite dark around us, okay? Is it really Kun? 47, we'll have a look at that, okay? Kun, I thought it was Eth, but we'll have a look at that. It might be. Sometimes I see the same word for different meanings, and I think that's very common in the Mandarin and Cantonese. That same word have different meanings depending on how you actually, your intonation when you speak it. 37, but I don't speak either Mandarin nor Cantonese, so I can only apologize for my butchering these words. So 37, household. And that is wind over fire. Which is wood, yeah. So wind over fire, that's wood. Wood, water. So we've got metal, water, wood. Although this is very watery as well, because obviously lake is very watery. So let's have a look at the underlying energies just very quickly. Household favourable for a woman to be steadfast and upright. And here this sequence of the gua. One who is injured abroad is sure to return home. Thus, after brilliance injured, household follows. So brilliance injured is when we are brilliance injured. Brilliance is like, it's a very fiery energy, and it's also illuminating in energy. But when this is injured, we don't see clearly, right? We become blind, and we actually live in darkness. In darkness, we can't see very clearly what's going on, and this is what we're moving into, right? Which is the strong, or it's the changing night. It's actually where we at in this hexagram today, which is exhausting. We'll be exhausting ourselves because we're not seeing clearly, and then so we don't have this inner center that should be stable is out of balance. And then so we remain in darkness. So we really need to illuminate. And then the previous year, so one must return home, and then return home to oneself, right? To go within. And then from here, starting to see, because this is when we go within and look at things clearly from within, and look at ourselves, right? Okay, why did that trigger me? And then really look at that, illuminate that. Why am I so upset right now? What is the real reason? Is it because the things that the people did around me, or is it really some old stuff that resides within me? Why am I being so triggered by these people or this situation? And then illuminate that, right? And that is to return home to oneself, because then when we're starting to do that, we can start to build this confidence within, because we're starting to see things for what they really are. Moving out of this darkness where we cannot see clearly, right? It's very important that we look and then we see clearly. Household, the woman obtained the proper place within, the men obtained the proper place without. When men and women obtain the proper places, they fulfill the great normal heaven and earth. In a household, there are authoritative rulers. They are the parents. When a father is in truth a father, and the son is the son. When the elder brother is in truth the elder brother, and the younger brother a younger brother, and the husband a husband, and a wife, then the way of the family is in a proper state. When every family is in a proper state, then all under heaven is in a stable condition. Yeah. And this is important. So it talks about being in your proper place. So acting from clarity, right? Making sure that we have all our ducks in a row. Right? We need to have all our ducks in a row in order to be able to move forward in a wonderful, in the best way, right? Things need to be in their proper places, right? And let's just have a look at this, the commentary on the symbol, and then we're going to move forward to the main energy here. The wind comes forth from the fire, an image of an household. In correspondence with this, the superior person is substantial in his words and consistent in his deeds. So, like, only speak in order to speak wisely, right? And not just having to just say words, which is what most people do, right? It's just lots of words. People are speaking without thinking, without looking at, like without first illuminating what they are going to speak about. It's just, it comes, words just comes out of the mouth. And I know I do this too. But we really need to look at the situation and see, like, illuminate it, okay? So, and from there we can speak. And if we can't see clearly, then we should remain silent, because all the words that we are speaking will be incorrect. If we cannot see the situation for what it is, see clearly, right? The words that comes out of our mouth might be, at best, if we're lucky, we might get a few words correct, right? But all the other words would just be words that we just speak. So in order to speak from a place of knowledge, we need to see clearly first, right? And then consistent in his deeds as well. We need to remain truthfully us. And then we need to remain always, right? We need to stop taking the veil off, like all these different faces that we have for different people. Like, we're one person with our parents, we're one person with people at work, we are one person with the boss, we're one person with our colleagues, we're one person with our best friends, we're one, like, this is different. We've got different layers, different faces for different people, and that's not consistent, because then our deeds will be different as well. We will respond differently, we will act differently, we will speak differently, right? So this is not a person who lives fully from their truth, from this inner center, from this core that is stable and truthfully us, okay? So this is the underlying energy. This is the advanced. I don't know why I talked so much about that, but I think it feels like it's very important. Illuminate, and then speak only when you know what you're speaking about. So we need to speak only when we actually know when to speak. Otherwise, we need to be quiet. And then, okay, so let's have a look at exhausting here. Kun. Yeah, it is kun. Okay, it means difficulty or hardship. It suggests a difficult position or situation. In ancient time, it meant being surrounded by enemies, poverty-stricken, extremely tired, or exhausted. When growing upward goes on without stopping, surely one will be exhausted. Thus, after growing upward, exhaustion follows. So if we look at the ideograph here, it's like wood growing within an enclosure here, so it cannot continue growing, right? And this is what this is talking about. It's come to a restricting, but it's like it's exhausted its space. And the actual hexagram is talking about lake above water, so it's not lots of water. It's like the lake has been drained. All the water is below the lake, so there's no longer any water in the lake. So we've exhausted all our energy, all our source. Like, in water is the initial, like, without water there wouldn't be any life on earth. Life comes from water, right? The first organisms, the first little cells came from water, right? And from there life grew. And we need water. We need to drink constantly. Plants need water. We need water. So what we've done here, by being triggered constantly, we've exhausted all the water. It's drained away. There's no more water in the lake, okay? Here we go. Exhausting defines the situation where the water is drained away, one's energy is used up. This is one of the most difficult situations described by the 64 Gua in the I Ching, fraught with restriction, obstruction, oppression, exhaustion. All 6 lines are unfavorable. The situation seems extremely gloomy and hopeless. But this is the best time for one to hide one's capacities and bide one's time. In an exhausting situation, one must still seek prosperity and smoothness and remain steadfast and upright. Only the great person possesses these traits, which will bring about good fortune. In the spirit of the I Ching, an extremely exhausting situation bears the deeds of a great regeneration. The sage accepts every situation with faith and ease. Not many people understand and believe this truth. So actually, and then, this flows entirely with what we've been getting from the hexagrams, and actually when I look at my life as well, over the last few days. And this year actually, and the end of last year as well. It's like being in a situation where I'm not being listened to, which is this is for me, right? And it's like it's a narcissist energy around, and people are being fooled by this energy, right? And then I've seen this and I've been affected by it and tried to remove it, but I've just been hitting obstacles along the way. In the end, I had to step down from my role because for my own sanity, really. And then also taking a step away from this, because this is not the kind of energy I want in my life, right? But I keep on being triggered at work yet. So I don't have this complete stability within. Obviously, I'm aware of it, but I notice how I am being triggered. And I must say, on Tuesday, I was so triggered. And Monday, Tuesday, I was like absolutely exhausting myself. And I keep on happening at work. I just exhaust myself. Come Friday, I am so tired. So Saturday, I just have to rest, really, because I'm absolutely exhausted. And this is the situation at work. But this really, when it comes to it, although the situation around me is exhausting me and draining, right? It's actually me being triggered that is causing the exhaustion. So I must just step out of it. But I'm definitely in the wrong situation. But we must remain, still seek prosperity and smoothness, and remain steadfast and upright. So this is not a time, despite the fact that we used up all our energies, to just lie down and do nothing, right? We need to keep on going. But we need to hide one's capacities. So keep your head low. This is not a time to rush forward at all, because we don't have the energy for that. So we just need to just lay low, hide one's capacity. Don't actually draw the attention to ourselves. It's stepping back and then wait for the correct time to actually make a movement. This is a very good advice. Very, very, and I feel it's very important. For now, we don't take any battles. We do not try to correct any situations. We don't do anything, but just step back. Just smile and wave. It's this, it was this animated film with some penguins in it. I can't remember. What was it called? It was a big one. And they were like some animals who being, ended up on a deserted island in Madagascar. I think Madagascar is the film it's called. That's what it's called. And then right at the end, this is Madagascar first, 3 penguins sitting on there. On the sun chairs, and they were waving as the other animals were going back into the city, right? Because they managed to get this boat moving. I can't remember exactly, but then the boat was going, and then one of the penguins sitting on the beach there said, "Oh, did you tell them that there's no fuel?" And they said, "No, but they'll find out soon enough. Just smile and wave. Just smile and wave." And this is what we need to do right now. Just smile and wave, right? There are some really crazy stuff going on around you right now, but people are not listening. You've tried to speak up, we tried to point out the problem, but they're not listening at all. And by keep on getting yourself into this trouble and trying to speak up and being triggered as well by this, right? We are just exhausting ourselves, so we have to stop doing this. And yesterday we had a great exceeding, but it's speaking about taking extraordinary action, right? And the extraordinary action we need to take is to step back, step out of our ego. It doesn't matter if they don't listen. It doesn't matter what they think of us. It doesn't matter whatever, right? It doesn't, right? What matters is this inner center that we need to cultivate, that our inner core needs to be in balance. And we need to be at peace, and we need to be able to radiate joy. We need to stop exhausting ourselves by being triggered, by not being heard, by these people who don't see anything, who are in darkness, are in absolute darkness of the situation. Okay. So exhausting, prosperous and smooth, being steadfast and upright, great person, good fortune, no fault. There are words not believed. Wow. This is just what I was speaking about. Just trying to speak up about something and people are not listening. And there's no point, right? There's no point speaking those words anymore because you're just exhausting yourself. So just step back, hide your capacity, hide this. Do not try to push for this anymore. So this is the time to just cultivate peace and calm within. and then wait for the correct time. Now is not the correct time, okay? Commentary on the decision. Exhausting, the firm is covered. Facing danger, still be joyous. So lake is joy, and double J is joyous, right? Joyful. Double lake is joyful, the hexagram joyful, okay? In an exhausting situation, one does not lose his prosperity and smoothness. Only the superior person is able to do this, okay? So what they're talking about here, like we really need to rise up and become this superior person, because we are in a terrible situation at the moment. But we cannot lose our minds here. We cannot allow negative emotions to rise and take over. We cannot lash out. We need to remain steadfast and upright. We need to remain truthfully us. We need to remain compassionate and kind. But in order not to exhaust ourselves, because anger and frustration will deplete our energy, okay? We need to become the superior person, okay? So this time here will show us this is where we are taking this extraordinary action and stepping up and moving up in life, growing, into this more superior person than we've been so far. Being steadfast and upright, only the great person possesses these traits. It will bring about good fortune because he is firm and central. Again, speaking about this is a very, very, very difficult situation. And we know this already, right? It's been ongoing for several months now. And it's really, this is what we're talking. There are words not believed. People are not listened to when we've been pointing out what is obviously eroding and decaying. But it's like speaking into the wind. The wind takes our words and they just disappear. People want to believe what they want to believe. Just look at people following Trump, for example, or Putin. Like standing outside of that, it's obvious that it's crazy. Why are you doing this? These people have no interest in your well-being, right? But you cannot convince these people. Even if you point things out and prove it, they will still make up excuses. Like, because they want to continue to believe this little lie that they've sort of have within them, right? And I've read somewhere, it's people will hold on and fight for a wrong decision much, much longer than they do a correct decision. They will like step back and go, okay, fine, I'll give up on the correct decision more easily, much more easier than when they're taking a wrong decision, when they take like a bad decision. Because when you make a bad decision, it's your ego will be hurt to actually admit to, oh my God, that was not correct. That was not very smart by me. So, and then it really takes a superior person and able to say like, oh, that was not well done by me. Okay, I did not think clearly there. So how can I proceed forward in a better way? There are very few people who can actually do that. Most people will defend this to their death, the wrong decision, whilst the correct decision, they can go, all right, I'll just let go of that. I know that you are wrong, but I will let go of it. It's fine. We can take your path, right? But then they don't have to defend their ego. I think the most difficult thing in this life is letting go of this ego. And then this advice comes to us as well. Let go of your ego, because we need to let go of our ego. Because the ego is there. Listen to me. I know I'm correct. Look at all the eroding, all the decay that's happening now, right? Here, everything is going wrong because of this one toxic person in my situation, right? I don't know what's going on in yours, right? But it's like how, and speaking up and that's also ego. It is, right? Listen to me. So I know I have to let go of my ego and go like, okay, it's fine. This is the situation we've got now, right? It's fine. And just accept that and stop exhausting myself. And with the rising anger and frustration. And then also exhausting myself trying to explain something that nobody wants to listen to anyway. So just hide one's capacity. It's time to not speak anymore. And by the type there will come a time when there's better time to correct, to move forward, okay? There are words not believed. He who considers the words important falls into exhaustion. Okay, so it's no point of just talking and talking and talking. Nobody's listening anyway. Nobody wants to hear. So just stop exhausting yourself by repeating it. So commentary on the symbol lake without water, an image of exhausting. In correspondence with this, the superior person spares no effort in fulfilling his inspiration. So the superior person spares no effort. Okay, so we need to fill this lake again. So, and this is going to take effort. So we're exhausted. Lying down is not going to help, right? Okay, of course, you need to sleep and eat and nourish yourself. I'm not saying you should go 24 hours a day. So slow down, but we still need to put effort into filling up this lake again with energy. So maybe lots of qigong, yoga, whatever you do, and then eating well, and then meditation to restore your balance, like to go back within and then look at this, is especially when you're being triggered, right, to sink down into your center, into the lower dantian, which is the absolute center really of you, and get that in balance, right? So you stop exhausting yourself. So let's have a look at the change line, which is the fourth 9. Coming slowly, slowly, exhausted in a golden carriage, humiliation, there is no end. Coming slowly, slowly, his will is directed to the lower. Though the place is not appropriate, there is response. Okay, let's have a look at the deeper text of that. This line is exhausted in a golden carriage. In ancient time, the prince rode in a golden carriage to greet the bride at his wedding. The fourth line mounts on the lower gua. The fourth line is a yang line. Kan. Kan represents water, but also wheels and a carriage. Okay. Kan represents wheels and a carriage. The water is below and the lake above. Lake represents a youngest daughter. Water represents a middle son. They are going to marry. This is the most joyful time in one's life, yet he still feels exhausted. In ancient times, a superior person worried not about poverty, but about the Tao, humanity. One who could not carry out one's aspiration, even in a superior position and at a significant time, still remembered those who were in an arduous situation. So at the moment we are blocked, right? And this is maybe not entirely blocked, okay, but we are exhausted, right? Because our energy is being drawn in the wrong direction of what we want to create, right? The real thing. But although we are there, and we are in this situation where there are a lot of people who are not listening, who don't want to listen. This is a world problem at the moment, currently. I think maybe in different parts of the world always, like in some parts of the world. But now it's becoming more and more so here in Sweden as well. We are getting these right-wing parties and it's all over the place, right? But when we look at the Tao of humanity, okay, humanities, we need to look at people around us. One who cannot carry out one's aspiration, even in a superior position and at a significant time, still remember those who were in an arduous situation. And the people who are in arduous situation are the ones that can't see, right? Who are blind. At least you can see the situation. We can see the situation, although we might not react appropriately always, right? But these people are this much worse when you cannot see entirely. And then when you don't see and you're being drawn into all this toxic energy, and then you actually become part of the toxic energy and you end up doing harm without knowing it, right? So most of the harm that's being done on this planet today is because of ignorance, because people don't see. So they just do what they have been conditioned to do and then create a lot of harm. Most of the harm is not being done by people who are really evil. There are only a few people that are very evil, right? But people who don't see, who are ignorant, are the ones who are enabling these evil people, and then become their servants and are doing the harm themselves and enabling this harm doing. Okay, so then, although we can't carry out what we want to do because we feel like we're trapped in this situation currently, we can't move forward really, we still need to remember those who are actually in a much worse place than we are. And then so we need to be able to stable and balance and not make the situation any worse by us being, angry and frustrated. Okay. The fourth line is a yang element at the yin place, neither central nor correct, corresponding to the yin line at the bottom. The bottom line is stuck in a gloomy valley. The yang line should go forward to help, but he is in a golden carriage. In the I Ching, a line moving upward is said to go, one moving downwards is said to come. This line wants to move downward towards the bottom line. The lower gua is water. He cannot move quickly through it. Thus the Yao texts say, coming slowly, exhausted in a golden carriage. Humiliation. There is an end. Yeah, so I think to step this, I think this is the really strong advice that we need to take with us. This is the best time for one to hide one's capacity and bide one's time. And then continue to cultivate our inner balance and not being triggered, okay? And then let's have a look at number 29, which is continue a little bit deeper into that line. That's great exceeding, which we had yesterday, taking extraordinary action, but can darkness. So I think this one we probably should go into more deeper at another point when we have it as the main energy, but let's just look at the decision. Double darkness, be sincere and truthful, rely on heart and mind, prosperous and smooth, deeds will be honored. Rely on heart and mind, okay? Be sincere and truthful. Be you, truthfully you, but rely on your heart. Come from your heart. And then use your heart. Use all your brains before you make steps forward, okay? So you listen to your stomach, your gut feeling, and then your heart will speak very loudly and say, what your heart says, okay, is this a correct moving forward or not, right? This is the way to do it. And then use your logical mind to plan next step forward, okay? In order to move forward in a great way. So, but for now there is no movement. Now we watch and we make very little noise about us. Okay, we're stepping back. Actually moving in a little bit into the darkness and taking ourselves out of the viewpoint. We're not, because we've been speaking, we've been trying, and there's no point, right? So now we're stepping back. We are getting our energy back, moving out of this exhaustion, filling up this lake. And by filling the lake, we're filling into this. And what that means is that we're cultivating the inner center of us, all the stability, and making sure we get the stability from within that we can radiate out. So that's what we're doing. So filling this lake again, okay? Let's have a look at this. Darkness is double, dangers succeed one after another. Water flows and fills, no, not accumulating but running, pass through dangerous places, never lose self-confidence. Rely on heart and mind. The firms are in the central places. Deeds will be honored, but they might not be now, right? But deeds will be honored, right? Going forward, there is success. Yeah, but it's going to take some time. And right now, they will be honored if you are operating in the correct way, right? The danger in heaven, no one can ascend. The danger on earth, there are mountains and rivers. Kings and princes took advantage of these dangerous situations to protect their realms. It is great indeed at the proper time to take advantage of these dangerous situations. Yes, it is a dangerous situation. It is darkness, right? And we are exhausted, right? But it doesn't mean that we are going to stop, We're not going to give up. It's just we're going to make it through this as well. But we really need to rely on our heart and mind to make our decisions from there. Okay, and then center, get stable within, not being triggered. This is a time of great growth, the potential of of leveling up in the life, in this life game. Water flows on twice over, darkness is stubble. In correspondence with this, the superior person cultivates and practices virtues constantly and responds through teaching. Yeah, cultivate our virtues and then a response through teaching. So we respond in a correct way, although we're being bombarded with just silliness. Let's leave it at that. We are responding in a correct way, and then through that way we can inspire other people, right? Because we're not being part of this hullabaloo that's going on. So yeah, I think that's the reading for today. That was very deep, and please remain stable within. Take moments, take yourself out of the situation. If you're being triggered, go and sit in a peaceful corner and do some cleansing breath, the ones that we did at the beginning here, to stabilize yourself within. Okay, and then and do not draw attention to yourself right now. You're moving backwards, not moving backwards. Sorry, that's the wrong way. But just taking a few steps back, yeah, and just don't actually make much noise. Just go about your day, and then replenish yourself. Fill up this lake again that's been exhausted, and then speak only when you know what you speak about. Don't speak just to speak, okay? And do not get yourself entangled in situations where you are being exhausted, okay? When you're being triggered, which is then exhausting yourself. So keep your head low and bide your time. The time will be correct. And if you act correct, you will be eventually heard and believed and be rewarded. And even if you're not being heard or believed in this situation, you'll be able to move forward in a different direction, and you're going to end up in a correct place for you, okay? So look after yourself, and I'm wishing you a beautiful day ahead. Okay, bye-bye.